A wife discovers that her husband has been arrested, but he is innocent. He did it to cover up for his lover who was the real culprit. But the husband manages to fool his wife into believing that he has changed. And later on, life puts everything in its proper place. Nevaeh and Arnold are a couple who seem to love each other and be happy, even though they don't have children. But one day, Nevaeh had an unpleasant surprise that would completely change her life. Arnold is arrested for embezzlement due to a scheme that scams clients of the company where he worked, and another surprise, Nevaeh found out that he had a lover named Delilah. All of this was a real snowball that collapsed on Nevaeh's head. After a long investigation, everything pointed to Delilah, but Arnold took all the blame for love of his mistress. Arnold worked with Delilah, and in court, he covered up the true criminal and took all the blame, saying, "Delilah has nothing to do with this. I committed this crime. I am responsible." After the jury's verdict, Arnold is found guilty and sent to prison. In prison, Nevaeh visited Arnold and he said, "Nevaeh, Delilah cannot be arrested. She has children and we do not. She needs to be free to take care of her children. But it's you that I love, and that's why I ended everything with Delilah." Nevaeh believed in Arnold and said, "I believe in you, my love, and I forgive you. I'll stand by your side." And so Nevaeh gave her husband a second chance and forgave him. Arnold was sentenced to 4 years in prison. During this time, things for Nevaeh were not easy. Wherever Nevaeh went, everyone around her asked embarrassing questions that made Nevaeh blush with shame, such as, "Is it true that your husband is in jail to cover up for his lover? / Did you forgive him? / Doesn't it humiliate you? / Doesn't it seem strange to stand by an unfaithful person who cheated on and deceived you? / Don't you have self-respect? / Don't you think you're too foolish to forgive someone who cheated on you, deceived you, and made you look stupid all this time? / Are you that foolish to forgive this unfaithful person who made you a fool?" And many other things and questions like that. Nevaeh was pursued with this issue wherever she went. Even at her workplace, this issue was discussed and talked about by everyone. She had no peace because this issue was on everyone's lips. But Nevaeh loved her husband unconditionally and was a faithful, devoted wife who was waiting for Arnold. One day, Nevaeh was at a chic and beautiful cafe in town, a restaurant specializing in breakfast. And a handsome, tall, blonde man with clear eyes asked, "Hello. Would you like a coffee? Let me pay for it." But Nevaeh declined and embarrassedly said, "Thank you very much. But I can't accept it. I am a married woman." And politely, Nevaeh left that place. But that man was over the moon with Nevaeh's beauty. And he knew that she was the woman whose husband was the famous Arnold, who was arrested to cover up for his lover, and this man respected Nevaeh's decision. 6 months later. Finally, the day arrived and Arnold was free. Nevaeh was happy and very emotional to receive her husband whom she loved so much, even in prison. At home, Nevaeh and Arnold hugged and kissed. Arnold joyfully said, "I was able to endure all of this. Thanks to you, Nevaeh." "Yes, my love. Now we will be together forever," retorted Nevaeh, excited. Everything seemed to be going great and the couple seemed to be living a fairy tale. But a week later, Arnold called Nevaeh and said he wanted to talk. Excited, Nevaeh asked, "What's the surprise, my love? I hope it's something amazing." And Arnold threw a bucket of cold water and said, "Nevaeh, I'll be direct and without beating around the bush. I saw Delilah, her husband left her and she's raising her children alone. Her husband left her after finding out about our affair and now she's alone and helpless. Nevaeh, surprised by Arnold's words, asked. Are you suggesting that we help this woman, Arnold? But Arnold said coldly, no. Nevaeh. I'm going to live with her. Now that Delilah is free. She and I can finally be together. I'm so sorry, Nevaeh. At that moment, Nevaeh's heart raced and she asked. What do you mean, live with her? Are you insane? Arnold. Because of this woman, you were in jail, humiliated, mistreated, and I had to endure malicious comments about you out of love and devotion as your faithful and devoted wife. And this is how you repay me? What a disappointment. But Arnold said emotionally and without hiding his feelings for Delilah. Nevaeh. I thought I had dealt with my feelings. But it's stronger than me. I love Delilah. She's the woman of my life and I'm going to follow my heart. And Nevaeh said how he could be such a scoundrel to do this. She supported and stood by his side in this difficult moment. What a disappointment. Arnold didn't think twice, packed his bags, divorced Nevaeh, and went to live with Delilah. Nevaeh realized that it was a hard and terrible lesson that she learned. Arnold never changed, he just became temporarily what she wanted. She was a prisoner of him for 4 years, so she said to herself. I was an idiot to wait for this scoundrel. I was faithful. I supported him in this difficult moment. I could have had a lover, but I didn't. How foolish and in love I was with a scoundrel who repaid me like this. Nevaeh remembered that she should have accepted the coffee offered by that charming stranger and not have been devoted for nothing to a scoundrel who did not deserve her love. Nevaeh saw that her marriage and her relationship with Arnold were beyond repair, decided to erase Arnold from her life and history. She decided she wouldn't waste any more time, started to dress up, look beautiful, and decided to go back to that cafe. To her surprise, that handsome man was there again. He offered her a coffee saying he would pay, and this time she accepted. He introduced himself and said, Nice to meet you, my name is Jeffrey. Then Nevaeh and Jeffrey started a friendship. Nevaeh talked about her life, and Jeffrey talked about his life. They seemed to complement each other and get along well. Nevaeh talked about her scoundrel ex-husband, his prison sentence, and the mistress he went back to. Nevaeh said she was divorced and free. Jeffrey was outraged by Nevaeh's ex-husband and said, Wow! What a fool! You're free from that weight. That anchor that only kept you tied down. You're amazing and don't deserve that husband you had, but now you're free from that weight. And Jeffrey added, Nevaeh. You should move on. Forget the past and don't look back. Nevaeh told Jeffrey she realized that and wouldn't waste any more time in her life. Thank you for the motivation, she said. Jeffrey said he knew about what happened with her ex-husband because he saw it in the newspapers, but he didn't care about the judgments they made about her. No one could speak ill of her, she fulfilled her role as a wife, and she was not unfaithful or betrayed anyone. The only victim of all this was her. Jeffrey said he fell in love with her since he saw her in the newspapers and she couldn't get out of his head. Nevaeh was amazed and embarrassed, but this time with joy. Then Jeffrey came clean and said he was the owner of that cafe and asked if Nevaeh wanted to start a romance with him. Without wasting time, Nevaeh accepted. They had fun, worked, and organized the cafe. The relationship started to flow, and gradually Jeffrey started to win her heart. Nevaeh was happy, so Jeffrey organized a party, and on his knees, he asked, Nevaeh. Will you be my wife, my lady, and the woman of my life? Nevaeh, surprised and very emotional, accepted Jeffrey's proposal. Nevaeh felt like she could fly in the air and felt that true love was blooming for the first time. Then, after 2 months of planning, Nevaeh and Jeffrey got married in a church. After the priest's blessing, they had a beautiful reception. In front of the guests, Nevaeh and Jeffrey danced a beautiful wedding waltz, and everyone was thrilled with the couple. After all of this, Jeffrey and Nevaeh lived their marriage happily with trust, love, and respect. After a few months, Nevaeh became pregnant with Jeffrey's child, and they had a set of twins, a boy and a girl, which warmed Nevaeh and Jeffrey's relationship even more. One day, Jeffrey said to Nevaeh with a smile on his face, "Nevaeh, you make me happy, and you are the woman of my life. Without you, I would die, I have no reason to live without you." Nevaeh, excited with her husband's declaration, said, "Hold on, my dear. It's not that serious." But she was amazed by the true love and sincere declaration of her husband. The couple raised their twins with love and care. 7 years later, Nevaeh was at home taking care of her children while Jeffrey worked at the cafe, when someone knocked on her door, and to her surprise, a ghost from the past came back into her life. It was none other than Arnold, her ex-husband, but he was bearded and had a sad and completely devastated face. Arnold said, "Nevaeh, it's been a long time. Unfortunately, I am now a widower. Fabiola passed away from cancer a year ago. Even though I loved Fabiola, I never stopped thinking about you." And Arnold added that Delilah's children were now with their father after he went to court and got custody of them. He took the house that belonged to Delilah, claiming it was his children's inheritance, and kicked Arnold out. Arnold said that now that Delilah was gone, they could start all over again, and this time he promised to be a faithful husband and never cheat on Nevaeh again. He said he would be the man of her dreams. Nevaeh, annoyed, said to Arnold, "Arnold, how can you be so shameless as to come back after almost 8 years? You are the past now. I don't love you anymore. I learned to value myself and those who really love me. A good lesson you taught me." But Arnold, angry, replied, "No, that's impossible. You still love me and can't have changed like this. That would be impossible. I came back for you." But Nevaeh said she would not waste time waiting for him, that she had already had that experience and it was unpleasant. Arnold was about to argue with Nevaeh when her children appeared in front of the house asking their mother who the man was. Arnold's world fell apart, and he asked, "Nevaeh, who are these children, and who are their parents?" Nevaeh answered confidently and firmly, "This boy and this girl are my children. And yes, I married a wonderful man who loves me unconditionally, and I am very happy. My husband's name is Jeffrey. He is the true man of my life." She said that Arnold came too late, and the line had moved on. Arnold then cried with sadness and regretted everything he did. And Arnold said to Nevaeh, "Nevaeh, I still love you, and I don't care that you have children. I want you back no matter what. Leave that guy and come back to me. I won't fail you again, and I will even raise these twins as if they were my own children. I promise you." Nevaeh, furious with Arnold's words, said, "Arnold, you're worse than Pinocchio, so full of lies. The only thing I feel for you is pity. This is an immature attitude of a desperate person, not someone who truly loves and only wants to take advantage." Nevaeh also added that her children have a real father and are not orphans to be adopted, and Jeffrey is a devoted husband and a great father. Arnold chose this path, now he should face the consequences of his actions. Then Nevaeh said goodbye to Arnold and told him that now she was happy, very happy. Arnold should go his own way and never appear in her life again. Nevaeh went inside her house with her children and closed the door on Arnold's face. Arnold was destroyed and his heart shattered into pieces, totally desolate and lost. His lover was dead and his ex-wife remarried. The regret came too late. Life had given him a lesson that he would never forget for the rest of his life. Hours later. The sun was already setting on the horizon, painting the sky with vibrant and warm colors. Jeffrey returned home with his arms full of surprises for his family. He carried a pizza with various toppings, steaming and aromatic, ready to satisfy everyone's hunger. For Nevaeh, a stunning bouquet of flowers with various shades, wrapped in shiny cellophane paper, symbolizing his affection and appreciation. And for the children, carefully chosen toys, capable of bringing smiles and sparkle to their eyes. The time Nevaeh invested in Jeffrey, her unwavering loyalty and sincere devotion, were finally rewarded. They seemed to be made for each other, like two pieces that fit perfectly. Meanwhile, Arnold, with a bitter heart and a heavy soul, was in a pitiful state of loneliness and helplessness. The consequences of his actions and his stay in prison had even taken away his chance of getting a job. Longing for love and understanding, he wandered the streets like a beggar, with an unkempt appearance and a lost look. Tired of the miserable life he was leading, Arnold sought the authorities and, with a deep sigh, revealed the truth. Delilah was the true perpetrator of the crime, not him. He presented the evidence that had been hidden before, and upon verifying the veracity of his words, the authorities absolved him. With his burden lifted, Arnold got a job as a forklift assistant at a local port. There, he met a widowed woman who had a young son and also longed for a new life. With sincerity and courage, Arnold shared his story, without hiding a single detail. This strengthened their relationship, and together they decided to build a life together. Arnold and his new wife were united in matrimony and together, they rebuilt their lives. However, the couple faced difficulties in conceiving. After tests, Arnold discovered that he was sterile, which explained why Nevaeh had not become pregnant during their marriage. Faced with this, they decided to adopt his wife's son and register him with his surname, forming a united and loving family. Meanwhile, Nevaeh and Jeffrey continued strong in their love and happy with their family, raising their children to be good people. With a peaceful heart, Arnold wished his ex-wife, Nevaeh, to be happy in her new life with Jeffrey. Moral of the story: never waste your time with someone who doesn't value your love, sacrifice, and devotion. Move on, forget the past, and don't look back. Value those who truly love you and stand by your side.